Just about time. Well,
Well,
no, wait, it is time, and you hit the button already.
I've already hit the button. Quick on the trigger.
Well, at least neither one of us are sliding into home plate on this lovely Tuesday, cloudy, rainy, dreary afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we weren't going to have that much to talk about, but as it turns out, there were quite a few sound bites from the city council meeting. So we do have something to talk about tonight, Mr. Lowry.
Yeah, and it seemed like they all came from one end of the chamber.
One end is right, the horse's rear end side of the chamber.
I
Oh,
gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, I was watching that, and I've got no words. I mean, I very rarely do I not have something to say, and I got to tell you, I, I didn't know what to say. Maybe I'll find something to
but,
say.
but wait, there's more. Did you catch the hot mic moment, Mr. Lowry? Because we have some well, it's not really exclusive because it's on the YouTube channel, but I took the audio and enhanced it a little bit so you can actually hear it a little better. Some very astute listeners caught that and text both of us that, hey, there was something said during the meeting on a hot mic. I
So
mean, this
you
is,
worked some of that technological magic to
yes,
highlight it a little bit, and
yes.
well, do we have a pretty good idea who it was on the hot mic?
I have my suspicions, but I think we'll play it and maybe, play it a couple of times because it's just a few seconds, and we'll let the viewers decide. We'll let the watchers decide
Oh, we're
who
gonna
they
tease it
think it
out
might
there
have
a
been.
little bit.
Yeah, it's not quite a Zamboni moment, but it's not far. It's more
Well,
like
I
an
know.
orgasmic moment. This is a tantric session at the city council meeting.
Oh, okay, okay. You're using big words on me. I see. It's going to be one of them Tuesdays. All right. Well, I see in our show notice you brought the all famous sea bass icon back.
Why,
Did
yes, I
chat
did.
did Chat GPT or AI do that, or did you do that?
Well, let me, you can't give away all my secrets here, but let me share out. So hold on just a second. So there is the event listing for tonight's show that I posted out. And yes, AI did help generate that, but I added my Seabiscuit in there. And notice we've got an Air Force pilot, fighter pilot, being rejected and told no and not by looks like some politicians, and one of them looks like Adam Seabass.
Well, I'm dying to talk about that subject matter. I don't know. I mean, is this a replay of the old school board system being against the Air Force Base and the all that? I mean, is that where we're going here?
It's
I
like
don't know.
childish teenage drama. We're going to mention a connection to bullying and, well, let's say some local news. Also, we talked for a few minutes, and I've got a video that Facebook reminded me of on the Red River, and, it is rising, and lots of folks have had a lot of rain around. Oh, and we've got a teaser video with some exclusive footage that we have that we'll talk about, and how I say it like I have a mouse in my pocket,
Oh
how
yeah,
you
yeah,
were able to
yeah.
get that, Mr. Lowry, and
Oh
we're going to build this into a series of shows across Louisiana Watch, and we'll share it out on Bossier Watch as well.
well, it is. I would say it's kind of like real journalism is what I would
Hey,
akin it to. I mean, and look, it's
almost.
us. I mean, we're a team. We work together. You do the tech magic, and I go get down in the weeds. I mean, Rex, I got to tell you, doing this part of it, I was actually cased while I was doing this by someone I don't know, I'm only speculating, but they were casing me. They were videoing me,
Really?
researching this. And I can't, I wonder if they were cartel or what they were. I don't know. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't.
You know, your wife is already not happy with you for broadcasting y'all's home address a few shows back. She's really not going to be happy if she happens to hear about these potential cartel issues. So everybody be quiet. We don't want to let Kara know.
Well, I will tell you, anybody that tries to take up following up on that house address, they're not going to be happy with what meets them. That's all I know.
Don't go into a gunfight without a gun.
Yeah, Fifth Ops is on site. Anyway, Red River Rising and Louisiana Watch teaser. See there, you're teasing me. Oh, that's what we're
That's
talking about.
our little video. So yeah, all right. Well, let's go ahead and let's do the countdown, folks. We've got about 30-something people watching. I just put in the comments that you want to make sure and grab your popcorn tonight. Howdy, Fox. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. Apparently, I'm not typing well tonight. But you make sure, or you may want to go ahead and make sure to grab some popcorn, tag a friend, let folks know we have an oh God moment. We have
that stiff drink thing.
y'all might need to back off a little bit.
Y'all might be gonna need that stiff drink tonight, because what you're gonna hear, I don't know, I know a lot of you, and I think your response is probably going to be the same as mine. Your mouth's going to hit the floor. You're not going to believe this.
Let's just say it is a Queen David moment again. So we've got plenty to talk about. We'll be back 2.5 minutes or so. Y'all get ready, tag everybody, text everybody, all that kind of good stuff. We'll be right back.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked.
You know, there's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
And aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now. Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you or did you not requisition money to fight against this or for it?
We hired a lobbyist, and it cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to Bossier Watch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Cruz legislative assistant, Allie Feaster Smith. Thank you, Allie. Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. No way, it was not David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't going to jump off in there with Chris. He ain't going to do it. He'd as soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme week. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all, and if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to the border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. And it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing. Folks, Coleman Project, the Walker Place deal, through conscious, shocking actions. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups and all that, from developing Walker Place But here's a key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button. Does that mean that people are like seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And here we are.
So, I know, listening to that intro thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, remember when I found the bus, with the Mexican drivers and busloads of Mexicans in the Walmart parking lot, and went up asking him, he said, "Are you safe on the road?" Yeah, safe on the road. And, where are you coming from? Mexico. And they were dropping off, but they had to swing into Walmart because I guess everybody, on their way had to get into Walmart to get something or whatever while they were on their destination. And then a few earlier, I heard, Acadiana Mortgage, 25 years. So that made me realize that video we made of that bus was at least 2 years ago because, we're at 27 years with Acadiana Mortgage.
Yeah.
And so that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. It was 2 years ago. And look, I guess we just need to rename the show Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because you've now hit 2 of the 3. Next, we got to catch them on a train. You're getting pretty good at sniffing this out, Mr. Lowry.
And here's something else, Rex. I've been trying to find a video that I made years ago. I was in South Texas, down around Laredo, and there was these buses coming in down there. I was working in the oil field way down there. It may have been Carrizo Springs, Catarina, somewhere down right around Laredo outside. And anyway, all these buses were pulling in and it was full of all of, these Mexican folks. I ain't got nothing against Mexican folks, but Hispanic folks, let's say it that way.
All right.
And I asked the bus driver, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, shipping all these people in. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, we'll go down, pick them up at the border, and then we bring them all into the country, different places, and drop them out. And he said, but I can't keep doing this. He said, I got a conscience. I'm going to quit next week.
Next week.
Yeah, that was like in 2012 or 2013. So, all this mass migration, Rex, it's been going on for a number. This has been an organized effort.
Long time.
Yeah, but it's now on steroids.
It's and I've told the story many times on the show, so I won't belabor the point. In the early 90s, I used to hunt in South Texas, and, when you're deer hunting down there, literally we're just a few miles from the border. You have to be extra careful of your target to make sure that it's not illegals crossing the border, and I've told that story a bunch. But now it seems like it's a mainstream production thing to get them across. And we've got a video to tease out, like I was talking about before the break. You went the other day and got some video, 30 minutes of video, total, that we're going to be putting together to roll out on Louisiana Watch. Of course, we'll share it out to Bossier Watch too, that addresses this situation again, right here in the Shreveport-Bossier area.
Yeah, there is a lot that folks don't know and folks don't understand. We hear all the stuff on the mainstream media about what's going on, and a lot of people think that, oh, that's somewhere else, or, oh, that's somebody else, or whatever. But it's actually more profound right here in your backyard that you don't even know about it. You have no clue and we got a tip on something that was happening, and I was able to, I called you, and I was able to go over there real quick, and I was able to get us some content. And then as you and I got together on it and reviewed it, we started putting two and two together, and there's some historical things that we learned legislatively, our elected officials, that are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And
Well, look, it boils down to the old phrase, follow the money, show me the money. That's what it
that,
always boils down to every time. Well, what do you say we play this little clip? This is a short clip, folks. And so, well, here we go. So set it up real quick. Give us like a 15-second setup without giving away too much. Where are you and what's this?
15-second setup is I had somebody call and give a tip that said there's something happening at the airport in downtown Shreveport. You may want to consider going out there if you have time.
Okay.
And so I went out there.
And this is what we got.
Tell people what's going on rather than they make assumptions.
I agree.
Illegals and they're not supposed to be here, and the government do their search on them and blah blah blah. It's like, yes. Do you honestly think our government will let them in without doing? I mean, they drop them off. The government brings them here in a bus and drops them off.
Did y'all catch that last part? Let me replay that last part right here.
Think our government will let them in without doing? I mean, they drop them off. The government brings them here in a bus and drops them off.
Folks, we're not making this up. So, Duke, you were there. I'm gonna put the little hand pointer on the screen over there, so folks look kind of below us. Where the logos are on the screen. Tell everybody what those folks are they waiting on a layover going to Vegas to gamble? Are those New York City executives? What are these folks over here?
Let me say it this way. Everyone sitting on that wall and the wall behind my back, the escalators are right behind my back, wrapped around to right behind this lady to the left, are all non-English speaking, non-American folks, all sitting there dropped off by your government at the airport so that they can move on to their next destination.
All right. Now,
and we're talking. I identified like at least 4 different countries, and at least one of them our greatest adversary, in the world.
Wow. Well, that's enough about that for tonight. So, folks, we're putting together all this footage, transcribing it, doing all that sort of thing, doing our thing, and we're going to premiere it in a couple different parts. Again, probably under the Louisiana Watch banner. Of course, we'll share it out on Bossier Watch. But yeah, y'all are gonna want to listen to this. It is eye-popping to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. So hey, cut one. Something's been really bothering me, and I got to tell you, we got all these non-English speaking folks coming into the country. Some people's opinion legally, some people's opinion illegally. We'll get to that later. But for the rest of us all that have been here and live here, just kind of been wondering, somebody asked me a question and said, how is people able to afford and do all the things that they're doing? How are they able to do that?
Well, look, I can tell you, just, I'm big into bass fishing, of course, and have long been into and been an advocate for the high school fishing and all that, bass fishing. And it's amazing to me. I don't understand how these parents are able to afford, not all of them, but some of them, able to afford a $75,000, $80,000 truck a 75 to 80, sometimes even $100,000 boat. Sometimes two of them, because sometimes they buy one for their kids, even though they have to be the boat captain. Plus, you know that their wife's got a vehicle, and and they're living in a nice house. And I don't get into the class warfare thing, but I'm sitting here going, what kind of debt do these people have, or what kind of money tree do they have in their backyard?
I'm with you, man. I think I have the answer for you, and this chart right here shows it. And if you look close at that chart and that red line,
Yeah.
what I'm going to tell you is that red line is not savings. That's not an increase in savings account. That is not what that is. You know what that red line is?
Red is usually associated with bad.
That is debt. That is a credit card. That is what people are living off of. That is how people are surviving.
Well, it's
And
kind of interesting if you look around the 2021 mark. I'm going to put the pointer on it on the screen right there. But if you look around the 2021 mark, looks like the green personal savings rate had kind of spiked, and then it intersects with the credit card debt line, and then they actually diverge. The credit card line is shooting up and skyrocketing, while the personal savings green line is just on a slow but steady fall.
so the interesting thing is for all of you sleuths out there that read charts, what was the significant factor between or right there at 2020, 2021? What happened and made things change?
Could have been it's Dr. Fauci.
Oh yeah, it could have been Dr. Fauci. You know, I mean, masks and social distancing. You know,
Yeah.
those things, and hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. Ivermectin, that none of that works. You shouldn't do any
Well,
of
not
that. But
just that.
you
We
should take the jab though.
we
Definitely.
literally, and we won't belabor this point too long, but we literally shuttered a large percentage of our business and economy in this country over that.
Now look, if some of you high achievers out there, you know, if some of you out there want to be sharper than your average bear, you should contact Michael Ferris and Julie Ferris at Pelican Training. They, they can definitely make you guys a whole lot safer and a whole lot sharper going into this. But they get it. Ferris says saving in a bank with absurdly low reward is silly. He's
I
right.
agree. Well, and look, it's like I came up or posited the theory. I have no data to substantiate this, so it's only a theory at this point. That also not around this time that would indicate such a sharp, let's just say, divergence of the lines here, but maybe some of it has to do with not only the COVID situation, but also with the cryptocurrency situation, with the loss of faith in traditional banks and traditional ways to put your money in. A lot of people are using digital wallets that aren't necessarily associated with a real bank. Now, that doesn't necessarily explain the credit card debt going up. But anyway, so there's a
Well,
little bit of a theory to throw out there.
Well, here's what I think, and here's my 2 cents. I am, no better than a Rhodes Scholar of Stupidville, but here's what I think. What I think is that during the Trump years, you had, goods and services prices were down, people's incomes were up. They had a little bit of extra money. You had COVID. They were able to stick a little bit of money back. They were saving it. You had a change in administration, a change in the government. They realized that, hey, all you small potatoes out there, y'all are doing just a little bit too good, and we need to set y'all back. So they drove inflation up, and all that little bit of extra you had, you know, you paupers, you can't save enough money. You can't put enough money back to offset the inflation. You can't make enough. We're going to increase the price of goods and services so much so that you're going to have to borrow to hold your head above water. And that's where we're at now, guys.
That very well may be true. And, by no means are we any kind of financial gurus nor giving, here's the disclaimer part. We're not giving financial advice. However, let us know what you think. I mean, what's caused the credit card um, debt change to spike up around 2021 while the personal savings rate is kind of pretty much falling slowly but surely off a cliff?
I still want to know where all those people that mandated we wear masks, that mandated we get the jab, that we're endangering, where are all of y'all at? Where are you at? You finally had Fauci admit to funding the Wuhan lab stuff. The telegram.
Had to practically drag it out of him. And look, I'll say Marjorie Taylor Greene, if nothing else, she's entertaining. Anyway, have you seen some of the clips of her against Fauci? She refused to call him Dr. Fauci. I'm referring to you as Mr.
Yeah, I mean, and she told him, like, you need to be in prison, you need to be in jail, and I agree with her. He does.
She is absolute soap opera, Jerry Springer, all of that mixed together at the same time, but definitely entertaining. All right.
I think she could take you.
Probably so.
She's tough.
She just starts throwing stuff out there. All right. What are we going to next? So, folks, if you haven't noticed, I don't think either one of us are actually looking at our notes tonight. We're just, wait, what does that coffee mug say?
It says
thermostat police. Oh, yeah. I gave up on that a long time ago.
Well, I put it on, well, I'm not going to say how I did it, but I have it electronically controlled, and only one person in the house has control of it. And you know who it is? You're looking at him. And nobody else can get to it. That's evil, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. So
talking about being in control. I mean, we're researching. We were talking about. We got a big story about what's been going on out at the airport with our government just dumping busloads of. Well, some people would say illegal. Some people would say not illegal. But let's just say our government dumping busloads of non-Americans at our airport, moving from point A to point B. But our local police jury, we have another story with some information that was shared with us about a double standard of our police jury. And I'm not talking about the show where we covered, them trying to put their finger down on what's their names, the doctor and his wife out there building their house. Yeah. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about something else where they have a requirement of you in the public, but they don't apply the same requirement of themselves.
Well, okay. So what exactly are we talking about here?
Well, let's just say that they will fine you and they will write you tickets and they will try to put you out of business for the same things that they are doing.
Wait a minute. Now, this is the police jury, right?
The Bossier Parish Police Jury. Yes.
So let's think about this. Now, I don't want to analyze this and give away too much, but they're going to fine you and potentially put you out of business. Is that maybe related to I think it's a Tahoe or a Blazer that the police jury has with some law enforcement stickers type decals on it?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but sources say you may be on the right track there. But that's going to be coming up here very soon in another show or two on Bossier Watch with some more detail.
We told y'all we are not giving up on the police jury. We just had our attention over there with the clown show going on at the city council, but we have not forgotten about the police jury.
Yeah, so let's go to plain dealing.
Okay.
On and if you look on the notes, Dixon's, I got a link, and in plain dealing talk, there was a post that was made in plain dealing talk, and it was a pretty good post. It was interesting what they were kind of pointing out, and this actually goes to MJ, and
Really? All right.
sort of, kind of indirectly,
So that's
yeah,
the Facebook post, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so give me a sec.
We'll
Yeah.
start from that point right there, and I'll break
Let's see.
this whole thing down for
Yeah,
you.
hold on. I got to switch profiles real quick so I can see that one. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me swap screens here. Let's see if this is going to work. Pretty close. Okay.
So read that article out because I can't read it. It doesn't look
Yeah,
clear to
so for
me
the
on my
folks
end.
that are listening to the podcast or pixely impaired because you're watching on your phone, here we go. This was posted by Darren Gwynn. I hope I'm saying that right, or again. Anyway, law will help wealthy Louisiana landowner in dispute with power line builder, May 30th, 2024. Governor Jeff Landry has signed a bill into law that intervenes in a North Louisiana land dispute between an interstate power line company and a wealthy property owner. The legislation that created the law, Senate Bill 108, sponsored by Senator Alan Seabiscuit, Republican from Shreveport, is scheduled to take effect August the 1st. The law is tailored in ways that would effectively prohibit a single business from exercising its expropriation rights, which allow governments and utilities to force the sale of private land for public use. Expropriation is typically used for development of a project that serves a greater public need, such as a new highway, or in this case, a power line. The company can't just take the land, but has to prove the importance of the project to a local jury and pay the landowner a minimum of fair market value. Seabiscuit crafted the legislation to target Pattern Energy's Southern Spirit transmission line, a 320-mile high-voltage line that would begin at a power station in DeSoto Parish and deliver wind-generated electricity from the Texas power grid to a power station in Choctaw County, Mississippi, crossing through North Louisiana. Wind has been the cheapest source of electricity for the past several years in the United States and around the world, according to a study by the financial firm Lazard. And of course, they have a link to the article in the LA Illuminator.
So here's the backstory, and this is why somebody kind of went with this. And if you went to the Louisiana Illuminator story, it would go into a little bit more detail. But okay, so Rex, do you know who? And for the y'all listening, do you know who the Dixon family is? Paul,
Do not.
Skipper, all the Dixon family. Okay. Sports South, Dixon
Okay.
Pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
Okay. Big money family, been around a while. You know, Sports South been here forever. I mean,
Right.
well, they got in a little bit of an issue with their Dixon Pharmaceuticals because they made opioids over there, and they got crossed. There was something happened. I don't know the details. I don't know the intricacies. I'm not carrying their water, and I'm not making light of anything, but I don't know the details to say. But I do know that they got in some trouble, got in a bind with maybe the ATF or the DEA or something or another with, the product that they were making and where it was going and all this stuff. So when the poster made this post, and I actually went in there and tried to correct this, they tried to frame this as, you know, Governor Landry and Seaball were helping the Dixons. Well, I can tell you, yeah, this action did help the Dixons, but there's a bigger picture here. It also helped a whole lot of other people. And you got to peel this onion back a whole lot more. So, what you have happening here, and let me frame it this way. What you have happening here, and I think we may have even talked about this in a previous show, because Some people may or may not know that I was on a transition committee, and in that transition committee, there were a lot of issues. The part that I was on, we discussed, forestry, agriculture, all those type things.
Right.
And this was an issue that came up. So here's what is happening. The government gives these subsidies, as I understand it, to states for the consumption of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
if so much of a percent is by renewable source, they get this much of a discount or this much federal dollars or blah 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 blah. So what you have happening is you have Mississippi, Alabama, you have states like that that don't really have, they don't have no, wind turbines, they don't have no solar, they don't have
Right.
that crap. So they got to find some. Well, we don't really have any in Louisiana. I mean, we're getting a few in here, but we're conservative Republicans. We don't believe in well, I'm not going to say all of us. I mean, we've got some liberal friends in here. I mean, and I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to the climate change global, warming agenda. I don't subscribe to all that crap. But if you do, hey, whatever floats your boat. But a lot of states that doesn't matter. They want that government kickback, but they got to find a source of that energy provided. Well, guess what? Texas has done a buttload of it all up there in the panhandle. They've done a whole lot of it. Oklahoma. So, but they've got to get that power from there to Mississippi. So what do? That company comes to Louisiana and says, piss on you, Louisiana. We're not going to give you anything. We're going to expropriate your property all the way across the whole state, whether you like it or not, because we can, so that Mississippi can get, their government check for renewable energy source.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, I mean, Jeff Sadow's chiming in, so maybe he's
Yeah.
correcting us. So he's always
Well,
on his
let's see.
game.
So Jeff says the practical impact would be to inhibit wind power transmission. P.S. Wind is not the cheapest when you remove the tax subsidies and use more accurate pricing methods than level cost estimate.
Exactly. Yep. So Jeff's on the same page with me. But here you have this energy company coming in and expropriating property from the western state line all the way across, cleaning a swath to the eastern state line to get down there to Mississippi.
Right.
So it's not, as the article paints it, that Jeff Landry and Alan Seaball are just throwing the Dixons a favor. That's not the way it is, because there's a whole
So,
hell of a lot more people that own property than just the Dixons that they're going to be taking land from.
so you're saying I have to go back and correct my Seabiscuit comment and actually call him Representative Seaball?
Well, look, I am wearing my Seabiscuit hat tonight, given by a good friend of mine that's down there in the Capitol, working. Anyway, I'm wearing my Seabiscuit hat, because Seabiscuit carrying this bill. I mean, he was probably asked to carry this bill by the Dixons, and I'll give credit. Skipper Dixon was on top of this. Skipper Dixon was on that transition committee with me, and I remember Skipper Dixon raising this issue, and it's a serious issue that affects a lot of people, not just him. In this case, this particular power company, it was affecting him. I could see why it would have been of interest to him, but it affects a whole lot of other people. And so to frame this as it being a political favor or it being whatever, no, this was the right thing. Regardless of whether we like Skipper Dixon or whether we like Alan Seaball or not, or however we feel. I mean, yeah, look, we don't make no bones about how we feel about people. We say it all the time. Skipper Dixon was Walk on Water's finance chair. I mean, so
There's
but I
that.
got to. But if the legislation, the bill, and the action is right and in the best interests of people, it don't make a crap who does it. And good job here. This was right.
Yeah. Well, I had no idea. And going back to the conversation about Louisiana and wind power, and it looks like Mississippi too, because it sounds to me like Mississippi's, just playing the game where they don't have to build all the wind turbines and all that. They can buy the wind turbine generated electricity to get the, I hate to say kickbacks from the federal government, but that's basically what it is, right?
Yeah, and Jeff said I was dead on the mark. Look, I can tell you, go to Casper, Wyoming, go to the runway, fly in there, and as you're flying in, you may see it, but if you don't see it as you're flying into their airport there, take a rental car, go to the north end of the runway, and look at the fields of wind blades. Look at the fields
Well,
of them there.
but
It's just
look,
it's
let, let,
staggering.
I think
The
part of the problem is, and it's not that I have anything against using wind turbines to help generate electricity. It's not that. It's this whole thing of, oh my gosh, we got to do this, or, the planet's going to explode in the next couple of weeks type thing that really bothers me. I'm all for using wind turbines to generate it if hydroelectric's not there, and, coal fired is not feasible in a particular area or whatever. But I think from Louisiana and Mississippi's standpoint, you know what the biggest problem probably is, or the biggest hindrance to going to wind power is? The pine trees. So let me give you an example. My wife had never been to Louisiana. So we're driving from Oklahoma. And in Oklahoma, their trees are what we would call shrubs.
yeah, they ain't got trees.
So we came in through the hills, taking the scenic route, and she was looking and almost, like stretching her neck up going, how big are those trees? And I'm like, oh, well, those are just our normal sized pine trees around here. So I think the biggest problem we have in wind turbine technology, and taking away the, the stupidness of the government subsidies and all that, we got too many dang trees, and then not enough fields and not enough wind like the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma does. I lived in Oklahoma for a couple of years. The wind never stops blowing in the state of Oklahoma.
That's right.
It does stop blowing here, and it gets hot and stagnant and humid. But up there, I don't think in the couple of years I lived in Oklahoma, it ever quit blowing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but here's the thing. If they want to send all this power from over there to Mississippi, they just need to freaking send it through the transmission lines to SWEPCO and then let SWEPCO send it down their lines over there.
Yeah.
They don't need to freaking go expropriating all this property, and tearing up people's lives. And I mean, that's ridiculous. And I mean, look, and I looked up this company. I did a little bit more research. I mean, and they are buried in the leftist, diversity, equity, inclusion, and
using all the buzzwords.
I mean, my gosh, it's like they had somebody from Washington D.C. write all this gibberish. I mean,
they just use AI now. It's easy.
Yeah, probably so. Probably
all
so.
All right. Barry Butler says acres of solar panels just north of DFW Airport. And look, I'm all for, solar too, where it's feasible, not necessarily subsidized. And again, not that we must switch to solar and wind power or the planet's going to explode in a few weeks. I mean, peak oil theory, I was taught that back in grade school. That has never happened. As a matter of fact, we've done an about face on peak oil, but that's a whole other conversation. Okay.
And you all need to be wearing your mask and social distancing, and you damn well better go get the jab. You all better go get it, or else if you don't do it, we're going to all die because of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember that?
Let's get into the good drama stuff. I mean, let's turn this into a sure enough before we get to Jerry Springer level, we probably need to talk about this Board of Elections thing and the whole purpose of the little show graphic that I posted today, and the name of the show, Shot Down.
Oh, yeah. So people, a lot of people may not understand, So you have this thing when you have an election, you have what's called a Board of Election Supervisors, and you have all these various people that are appointed. You have the governor has an appointee to this board. The major parties have of the parish have an appointee, the Republican, the Democrats. I mean, there's multiple people on there.
Right.
And what they do, Rex, you were actually appointed on there. You tell everybody what they do.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before on the show a couple of times. But basically, every election you're sequestered up there in the courthouse, and you also go to the meetings, which are open public meetings, by the way, in the courthouse before the elections to help choose the not the election supervisors. I just had a mind blank. The people who work the polls, the commissioners. Anyway, so you go, draw ping pong balls to randomly choose those out of a list of available people and all that. Anyway, and the Board of Election Supervisors, they do have an important job. They're charged with reviewing all of the ballots and signing off, or any discrepancies in any ballots, and signing off on the election tabulations from those wonderful machines that everybody loves before they get officially submitted down to Baton Rouge. So, in other words, it's a check and balance. And like you said, one person's appointed by the governor. The clerk of court is one of the supervisors. The registrar of voters is another supervisor. Then you have the Republican Executive Committee appointee and the Democratic Executive Committee appointee. And I think I mentioned everybody there.
Yeah, and I don't think that you mentioned one of the things. So, like, let's say like a mail-in ballot. So
Right.
all of you, so let's say you sent in a mail-in ballot and you didn't get a witness on the witness thing, and
Yes. You have to make those decisions on whether it's a valid ballot or not. And to be honest, we've rejected a whole heck of a lot of them on my time as on the Board of Election Supervisors.
Yeah, and the group sits there. They actually take the ballot. They look at the ballot and they say, "Okay, is this approved or is this not approved?" And did y'all ever have any disagreement? I don't think that y'all probably ever had any disagreement. You did?
No, not. I wouldn't say disagreement, just discussion about it.
Yeah.
And in the end, then everybody agreed. We looked at the law and the way the stuff reads and all that, and double checked it. And I got to be honest, most of the time when we rejected ballots, it's because they just didn't have a witness signature.
Yeah. So
more often than not, it's because you don't have a witness signature.
So anyway, at the beginning of every term, the governor appoints somebody, and there's some processes as to how that person is appointed. Basically, the governor submits some name, but there's more has to happen. The governor don't just get who he wants, right?
Correct. The governor doesn't get who he wants. I think the Senate has to confirm that person. The Louisiana Senate, correct?
That's correct. And what I will tell you is what I know from history about things pertaining to the legislature is when someone gets an appointment, a governor's appointment, the senator of the respective district or parish has to approve that appointment. And if they don't approve it, the Senate rejects that appointment.
I wonder how many times in the history of our state, or in the history of the Board of Election Supervisors, I wonder how many times the Senate has rejected a nominee. That would be an interesting stat to know. I wonder if Mr. Sadow could look that up for us, and we could talk about it on a future show.
Well, I don't know about if there's ever been a case in Bossier that it has happened, but what I would say is it has happened now that the governor has made an appointment to the Board of Election Supervisors in a retired Air Force. I think he was a colonel. Anyway, Air Force fighter pilot, former police juryman, Bossier Parish Republican Executive Committee member, an upstanding guy. I mean, I can't
He's pretty
say
much
enough.
a straight shooter.
Straight shooter. I mean, but for some reason, it would seem that our local senator, Mr. Seabass, objected to the governor's appointee.
I wonder why that would be. That's odd. I mean, Seabass is a Republican. Barry Butler is a Republican. I mean, what the heck?
Well,
Do
I
we
don't.
know if there was any reason given for this?
Well, here's the thing. Honestly, I really don't know if Seabass objected to it, but that is that's got to be the reason. There's no other explanation really out there.
Well,
I
could
don't
it be
know
one of
that.
those things he was supposed to bring it up on an agenda and maybe he didn't do that or something? I mean, let's pull.
Uh,
I'm going to pull up the letter here. So
I,
here we go.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Says
yeah.
this is from Cameron Henry, President of the Senate, dated
At
June
least
4th.
they acknowledged his rank. That was respectful, Captain Barry Bell Butler.
Yes. Okay. And so that answers our question earlier. He's a captain, not a colonel or whatever. And correct us in the comments if you want to, Barry. Says, Dear Captain Butler, regretfully, your appointment to the parish boards of election supervisors for Bossier Parish was not confirmed by the Senate during the recently concluded regular session of the legislature. Louisiana Constitution Article 4, Section 5H provides that this confirmation is necessary in order for you to continue serving. Therefore, your interim appointment to this board expired on June the 3rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Maybe we need to contact Cameron Henry down there and say, what the hell
Oh,
happened?
what do you think if you just call him, he can tell you what happened and why they did? Do you think
Well, I
that's as
mean,
easy as that?
we probably could reach out to our local Senator Seabass. I mean,
Oh, that would be a good
because
idea. Why don't
yeah,
we could just call him and he could tell us whether he did it or whether they just didn't get around to it or
maybe they just
what.
forgot. Maybe he forgot to file whatever paperwork he has to file as a state senator. I don't know. I'm trying to
Well,
give him the benefit of the doubt.
surely that's what it was. Surely.
Well, and look, it should be public record because this is a public appointment made by a public official. I mean, they're not employees or anything in the state. They do get paid a per diem, but that's like $50 or whatever.
Oh, well, let's just file a public information request then.
Yeah, but we have to be careful of one thing. We have to be
What?
careful of one thing. Let
Well,
me
what do you mean?
pull this
What are you
screenshot
talking
up.
about?
Well, I got word that Senate Rule 1617 says penalties for violating the confidence of the Louisiana Senate. Any senator, officer, or clerk of the Senate.
They got plenty of confidence. I don't know if you can violate their. How would you do that? They're confident,
Look,
all right.
that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, who discloses the secret of confidential business? How the hell is an appointment made by a publicly elected official, state senator, and confirmation by a public body, the state senate, to a publicly appointed position on the Board of Elections Supervisors who operate in open meetings, and the elections themselves are considered open meetings. You just have to be sequestered in there during the election time. How can any of that be confidential business?
I don't know that it's supposed to be confidential, but I can say that this rule right here is just CYA. This is just to cover their
That
butts
sounds like
politically.
that sounds like an insurance salesman trying to get out of paying a claim.
Well, look, I don't know Seabass to be one to not, deal directly and be confrontational. I mean, I'm wondering if he was going to cite this rule and he's
I
going
don't know.
to say, "Oh, I can't say if I decline that appointment or not." I mean, I'm
Look,
wondering.
I mean, maybe he didn't. Again, maybe he forgot to file whatever paperwork he needed to file with the Senate to make sure the appointment got on the agenda. I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he has any problems with Barry Butler or whatever, he should just own up to it and say it. I mean, grow a pair, Adam.
Well, I agree. He should just own it, and maybe he should have just called him and said, "Hey, look, I'm going to object to your, and here's the reason why." But I got to tell you, I think this is stupid. I think it was a
I think
stupid
it is silly.
move. I think
It
it was a
sounds like
stupid
high
move.
school crap. Well,
Yeah.
he picked on me and took my lunch money one time in, eighth grade, so I'm not going to appoint him to the, you know,
Yeah, but here's the
Board
reason
of
why.
Elections.
Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Let me break it down. Okay.
Okay.
So you had the race, and we did the debate between,
Yeah.
Adam and Senator Mills at that time. Now, anyway, so
Which went really well for Adam.
yeah, it went really well. And I mean, and I mean, so look, the way that some of you may have forgotten, Senator Mills was running for reelection. Nobody had announced they were running. Nobody had announced. There was nobody else out there. And even the PEC, a motion was made, the Republican Parish Executive Committee, and they endorsed Robert Mills. He was the incumbent. Had
Right.
nothing to do with Adam Bass. Adam Bass wasn't even announced.
Right.
And so there were several members, and I think Barry was one of them, who was all on board with Robert Mills. In fact, I mean, he even had a sign in his yard.
Well, and Barry supported Mills in his campaign against Ryan Gaddy. That was no secret.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, so I think Bass made a mistake here. He made a mistake. We haven't talked about, like him and Bamberg, the new legislators.
Right.
Y'all may have
Oh yeah,
noticed.
they're freshmen.
Yeah,
Rookie mistake.
We haven't picked on them. We haven't talked about their legislation. We haven't talked about anything. But you know what? A day ago
Well,
the sun died. It's over with. So now they're fair game. They're not freshmen anymore. So
that
he
is
makes
true.
on the first day not being a freshman, he's got a mistake up his sleeve, and that is this is stupid. Where was Matt Kay? Matt Kay should have told him, hey, look, you know what? Rather than alienate this guy, you ought to call him and say, look, I know you didn't support me. I know that you were against me. You supported my opponent, but I'm going to go ahead and support. I think you're a good guy. I think you'd be a great asset to be on this thing. And I look forward to working with you in the future. And you know what? Barry Butler would have been loyal to him to the end. But
Yeah.
no, he didn't go that route. What route did he go? Let's burn that house down, baby.
Just pissed off half the pack because again, Barry is very opinionated, but Barry's about like I said earlier, he is a straight shooter. And but I can also say this about Barry because there were some things during the police jury race that could have been done, and Barry chose not to do them because he's got a pretty high character. And so I would congratulate him on that. Anyway, but here's what it boils down to. So some of you may be thinking, well, why don't you guys just have Adam Bass on the show? Because he's not going to come on to talk about this. Hence that Senate rule that I just showed.
Yep.
I mean, he's got our number. He can come on here right now and talk about it. He knew we were going to talk about this on the show. We have his number too, but we can guarantee he is not going to come on the show. He's hiding behind his insurance clause.
Insurance
Yeah,
clause?
well, it sounds like an insurance salesman trying to get out of paying a claim. See? We keep sending these insurance guys and lawyers to Baton Rouge and getting the same results every single blasted time.
I think it was a forced error on his part. I think it was a mistake. He should have.
Maybe so.
He should have. He didn't play this one right. And if somebody told him to play it this way, they gave him bad advice.
Yeah, I mean, I like Adam. May not agree with him 100% politically, but I like Adam. But yeah, he made a mistake on this one.
Anyway, so where to now?
So we're going to get to the city council meeting, and trust me, you want to stay tuned in for that part of it. But what's this bullying connection?
Oh, yes. So I'm wondering, did any of you see the story about the KTBS reporter guy or whatever getting arrested or something to that effect? For
I vaguely remember that, but kind of refresh mine and our watchers' memories as best you can.
Okay, well, I don't know if there's a lot of refreshing, but it's hot off the presses. This is something that's been happening here within the last couple of days, but apparently there's this guy that works for KTBS. He was a reporter who uh, went someplace, some people's house, and I think he got arrested for solicitation of a minor.
Oops.
And he upon doing that, there were some guys there, whatever. They beat him up or something or other. He goes back to the police station or to the KTBS apparently, and states something or says something that he got beat up or something, some story to that effect. He got beat up. It wasn't that got beat up because he was soliciting a minor, but he got beat up just because he got jumped or something to that effect. So then ultimately the police determined that that wasn't what happened, that he just got jumped and beat up, but that he was actually trying to do something nefarious, and he got arrested. He summarily got fired from KTBS, supposedly after they learned. Well, to me, that's not maybe where really the story is. Maybe where really the story is where that he was the guy that took reports, as a source tells me, of bullying in the Bossier Parish school system. Cases of bullying, they went to the media. This guy got it, and it got squashed.
And we don't want to say who the source is, but let's just say it's a very reliable source. Huh? Would you say that?
Very reliable source that the information about what was going on or some of the things that have been going on within the Bossier Parish school system regarding bullying was he resigned. Okay. What was brought to this reporter, and he buried it. Now, there was speculation, that it had something to do with, as you know, we affectionately call her the cheerleader of Bossier Parish school system.
Yes.
Her husband had some managerial role at KTBS, and it was suggested that maybe KTBS would squash stories, especially as it pertained to Bossier Parish school system. But I don't know if that's the case, and I don't know that makes any sense anymore. Now maybe it was just this individual guy, and maybe I don't know. Just
Very
connecting
interesting.
dots here. I'm talking out loud, connecting dots here.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. And let's see, who was that? Val Baker says, I'll put it back up on the screen, says, got caught by online solicitation of a minor. Does anybody know? I have not read the story yet because I was dealing with the high school fishing deal for the last several days and hadn't really been plugged into the news. Let me phrase this the right way. Was it actually a 15-year-old minor, or was it a pre-crime setup, a honeypot deal that the law enforcement sometimes will do? Does anybody know? And not that it matters because it was in his intent if he thought it was a 15-year-old girl, but I don't want to hang the guy completely just yet until he's found guilty. Still innocent until proven guilty, but does anybody know the backstory of that?
That's right, and David Womack says civilian sting. As I understand it, he went to some residence to meet, this 15-year-old or whatever, and upon getting there, he ran into some guys that weren't 15 years old, and he had a bad day.
All right, so I'm going to throw something out there, and let me just see what everybody's reaction to it is. So what I'm about to say, I don't care if it applies to, uh, um, solicitation of a minor or if it's a drug bust or whatever the scenario may be. Look, even the ATF has done this before. As a matter of fact, Waco is a good example of this. If they're trying to set you up and they simulate the crime, but you don't actually commit the crime. And I realize there's statutes for this. Aren't we getting a little bit into the pre-crime deal? What was that movie with Tom Cruise, Minority Report? Aren't we aren't we a little bit getting on that edge? Because I've been watching all these ATF hearings in front of Congress as well.
I think you're right. I've been watching this trial in New York recently. That
it's almost a pre-crime situation.
Yeah,
he didn't actually commit a crime, so they tied all these and strung all these things together to come up with 34 felonies. It's almost like that, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So Ashley Bullock's giving us some of the sword. I told you it's almost Jerry Springer night tonight. Says he was sending photos of himself, and I get it, Ashley. Trust me, I am not trying to defend child pedophiles and child predators by any stretch of the means. I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just saying, was he actually sending them, or was it a bunch of dudes on the other end that had to be watching and getting those pictures? I'm just saying, it's almost pre-crime deal.
Wait a minute. It's like I feel like I'm America First, or I'm like Make America Great person or something, or I don't know. You gotta show me a little video.
Oh, let's see. Okay. Hold on. Where is your video? Hold on.
I just messaged it to you.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second here to get it pulled up.
I had a little spare time and had some fun, and I was just messing around. But I was actually, you
had Louisiana told me bucket. Oh no, hold on.
You told me about the old school way of memeing, that the old memers used to do, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it once. I want to see what it was like to do it frame by frame, and holy crap, it's a lot of work.
Okay, hold on just a second here. It's going to take me a second to get this dragged out. And again, folks, while I'm trying to get this video downloaded, I don't want you to think that I'm advocating, for this guy that he's some great guy. I'm not. He's probably guilty of sin. I'm just saying we're trying not to set a double standard here. And it always bothers me, again, whether it's ATF type stuff, potential drug bust, some simple marijuana bust, anything like that, it's almost to the point of pre-crime. So, Ashley says, if he wasn't guilty, I would think he wouldn't have resigned. I'm pretty sure they probably forced him to resign. So, again, I don't know the guy. I'm not defending him. Don't take it that way, but I'm just saying. Okay.
Well, if he responded to somebody saying they were 15 years old, and he shows up at somebody's house expecting to hook up with a 15-year-old,
he's probably guilty of sin.
And he gets a beat down from some non-15-year-olds. I'm just curious, who on here has sympathy for him?
I have none.
Not me. No.
All right. So here we go with this video. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Why are the FBI jumping in the ocean, in the sea?
What the hell?
Oh. Well, see, I see an error with my video. So all the people, that's the wrong one. That was a pre-cut. I had to go back and add something else. Anyway, so all the people that were in the ocean that went to the beach, that was all the America First, Make America Great people. And they all went to the beach, and then guess what? Here comes the FBI and the DOJ to get them.
Yeah, that's almost like, where'd they get are those are Chinooks? I mean, where'd they get, why does the DOJ need Chinooks in the FBI? Although I'm sure they have them. I mean, the IRS carries weapons. Hell, the Postal Service, some of those guys carry weapons.
Yeah, they got to come after you. They got to get all of us. It's got to set us up.
All right, so let me get through some of these comments. The article said he sent pictures of himself to a 15-year-old recipient. He actually thought he actually was sending it to the three. Wait a minute. These were citizens that set this guy up?
Oh,
we're not through a Jerry Springer time yet.
Good job, guys.
Well, that's amazing.
Whoever that was, good job.
Wait a minute, this story takes a better twist. Like I said, I hadn't read any of this. Let's see. Any negative press or questionable behavior, they usually get let go, whether guilty or not. He yelled, "I've got a wife and kids," allegedly running back to his car. Ashley Bullock says yes. So these were vigilantes, online vigilantes.
Val Baker said, yeah, they did arrest him.
Okay, so civilian sting. Okay. I read that comment the wrong way earlier, Mr. Womack.
And Paul Black, maybe he was into getting dudes.
Yeah, hey, whatever.
Wow. Man, good job to those guys. I love it.
All right, wait. I got to think, though, where's the political tie-in to all this?
Well, the FBI and DOJ would say those guys are bad guys. They're bad citizens.
Oh, yeah, for taking it upon themselves. Okay. All right.
Mike
Paul
Johnson
Black
would
says,
just give them a raise
yeah.
for going after these guys.
All right. So let's get to the other part of the Jerry Springer episode or edition of this show, segment of this show.
Okay.
The oh God moment.
Oh God. Are you serious? Are we going to Bossier City? I thought Bossier City was through doing stupid stuff. They didn't have any more money to spend.
Let me change the spelling so neither one of us gets struck by lightning. The oh God moment.
I watched this video and I got to tell you, I had no words. I could not believe the words coming out of his mouth. I could not believe it.
Ashley Bullock says, do we have to talk about David Montgomery? As if talking about online solicitation of minors was not gross enough. Yes, we're going to top that by talking about David Montgomery.
I mean, you thought the online solicitation of minors was bad. Y'all are not going to believe what he had the gall to say. Y'all's jaws are about to hit the floor, and I want to see what everybody says about this. When they take this in totality, Rex, I wonder if their response is going to be like mine. I was speechless. I cannot believe that he had the gall to say everything he was saying.
Oh, it's crazy. All right, so let me click a couple of buttons here. Let's see. Where's my little magic button? That, and click that. All right, and if I click this. All right, so let's go ahead and go through this.
Paul Black, long live the Queen.
No kidding. That's Queen David to us. Yes. All right. So I want to start with this. We're going to start kind of at about the 9-minute mark. So Phyllis, I want to play this one. Phyllis was reading an ordinance about a cooperative endeavor type agreement with the parish. And this is kind of important. And then we'll get into the Jerry Springer part.
Introduce an ordinance authorizing Mayor Thomas H. Chandler to enter into the attached amended local services agreement with the parish of Bossier and to execute any documents in furtherance thereof. First reading.
So moved. All right, so they're entering into a cooperative agreement with the parish. This is the city and the parish, okay? Well, Richard Ray gives a little soliloquy on at the request of Darby to kind of describe what's going on.
It's my understanding that this agreement is executed every year that documents the projects that the city and the parish are cooperating on.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to jump to the next portion. So you heard that. That's Richard Ray. It's agreement, projects between the parish and the city. Well, go ahead, Mr. Hammonds.
Richard, just about every, I don't see anything that is in the city limits of Bossier that is on this list. Is there a reason? Everything in here is out in the parish. Johnson Corian Road, Cycle Plant Road, that's actually in Benton. Would that not be?
It's not even in Benton. It's north of Benton. That might be Antrim.
This is what your city council is doing.
It just seems I don't know, kind of irrelevant that
Now listen to this.
we're in this cooperative endeavor agreement with them, but it's really not benefiting the city of Bossier, for say.
Well, I think that the parish has to file the same ordinance.
In other words, he doesn't know.
But I don't know if engineering can help me with any
He's trying to phone a
of the
friend.
new projects, but I just know that there's new projects.
Oh,
that have to be
Ruttenbuck will
added to
save the
every
day.
year.
Shit. He makes the big bucks.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. It was like, so let me give you the summary version. The damn city attorney or acting city attorney didn't read that cooperative endeavor agreement. They were just going to sign it because that's the way they've always done it. They've done it for 10 years.
What is Coran Johnson Road? I mean, why does Bossier City, Hammonds was dead on the money. Why in the heck would Bossier City have anything to do with some road way out there or the cycle plant road?
Because they've done it for the last 10 years, and that's the way they've always done it. Duke, don't argue with them. Our benevolent overlords know best.
Okay, well that ain't even what I got no words for. I mean, that I got words for.
That's just the warm up part of it right there that we just saw.
Okay, well let's get to the full course meal here.
Yeah, so here is Phyllis reading the ordinance for this cooperative endeavor agreement between the city of Bossier City, Shreveport, and the port.
Authorizing Mayor Thomas H. Chandler to execute the attached joint cooperative endeavor agreement with the city of Shreveport and the Caddo Bossier Parish's Port Commission. First reading.
Okay, so you heard that, right? It's a CA between the city of Bossier, the Port Authority, and the city of Shreveport. All right,
now,
and it's concerning this water line.
Yeah, is this just a continuance of what they've already done, just renewing it?
Well, it's not really renewing it per se. I think they got up and explained that it's the way that they're going to proceed if some emergency happens with this new water line, that they're tying in that we've talked about on a couple of shows. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So they go through all this. Well, they asked for comments. So I want y'all to listen carefully to this. So this is as Colonel Crockett is beginning to walk up to the stand. Y'all hear it? Let me back it up again. Hold on.
Wait a minute, what?
Here we go. Listen.
First by Councilman Smith, second by Councilman Williams. Comments from the audience?
All right, listen. Right there. It's almost like, I see dead people.
David Crockett, 653.
Y'all want to hear it a little better?
Well, I know who it wasn't. I know it wasn't Vince Maggio. I was looking at him. He was putting a bottle of water to his mouth.
We know it wasn't Tommy because, Tommy would have bumbled it. So I took that audio. That audio right there that we just played is straight from the YouTube video. So I downloaded the video, boosted the audio. So listen up.
Comments from the audience?
David Crockett.
Did you hear it? Here we go.
Wasn't Darby.
David Crockett, 653 Dumaine Drive.
I mean, everybody jacks with the Colonel. So here is the question of the day. This is a mystery, folks. We're not sure which city councilman said it to the hot mic. I want you to, I'm going backwards a little bit, real slow. So right here, as you see the words is about approximately when it happened. I want you to watch all the city councilmen and the mayor and see if you can figure out and let us know in the comments who you think said it. And listen to the voice carefully. Again, it's boosted and I removed a little bit of background noise so that you could hear a little bit better.
David Crockett, 653 Dumaine Drive, Bossier City, Louisiana.
I don't know. I can't tell.
So who does everybody think it was? And we're going to post this video. I'll post this little clip on the Bossier Watch Facebook page after the show.
I don't think it was Darby. and I don't think it was Maggio. I'm ruling those two out. And Tommy, you're right for the reasons you said on Tommy. Tommy, Darby, and Maggio, they're out.
Right. So who was picking on the good colonel today? Who do you think it was? Drum roll. And we're not even, that's not even the best part. Now, we got to give a little credit to a couple of Bossier watchers. We're not going to name them, who sent us text messages who were watching the city council meeting and said, hey, you might want to listen to the audio around this time frame. Sounds like something got caught on the hot mic. All right, so Ashley,
right.
all right, Val Baker votes for DeQueen. Ashley swears up and down it wasn't Brian or Chris. Surely it couldn't have been Brian or Chris. Wonder if the guilty person is going to fess up to it.
I don't know. So,
wouldn't it be interesting if I zoomed in on the video? If I did one where I zoom in on the video so we can see hand motions and see people's jaws moving?
I don't know. It's a paradox. I mean, look, they're human, and they have emotions too, and they get tired of hearing. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we already know that. They do get tired. They don't want to hear the public. They'd rather the public just not do anything. And the public, for the most part, well, y'all don't say nothing. So you give them what they want.
I had a text message vote for Jeff Free. I'm not going to say who voted, but we did have a vote for Jeff Free. All right. So let's watch Jeff here. It's right about there when it happens. He did look up. I gotta say, hey, that's a likely candidate. Might have been.
It's possible. Well, hey, Jeff's going to run for mayor against Tommy Chandler, right?
Really? Won't that be a
Well,
dog
I mean,
race?
that's the word on the
Horse
street
race,
is
jackass race, whatever.
He's out fundraising to be the next mayor.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, Jeff. Look, I hate to say it. I don't think he can beat Tommy.
I don't think he can beat Tommy either. I mean,
that may shock a lot of people, but I don't think it can.
Tommy signed up for term limits twice. Jeff Free has opposed term limits twice.
Yeah.
So
Tommy's been out there having golf tournament after golf tournament, raising lots of campaign cash.
Yeah, but Jeff is some of the money people, the Stonehenge people. So he probably feels like he can throw a ton of money at it and beat the snot out of Tommy.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. All right.
So let's get to the good part. Let's get to the good part. I'm dying to know what people think of the good part. That's what I want to know.
Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead here to where it gets really good. All right. And this has nothing to do with anything they were actually talking about. As a matter of fact, Ruttenbuck I think he had just gotten through giving an update on status on some projects that, their Manchak's doing in the city. So here we go.
On Benton Road with the newly installed raised curbs, whatever you want to call it. Scott's Audio, you're familiar with that building?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
I don't know, 25 or 30 years. And
all right, listen.
You cannot make a left-hand turn in his business.
Oh, who knew?
Oh.
I mean, if you're heading north, how do you get into his business? You can't.
I got a question though. Was Queen David over there getting a new sound system? Was he getting some new woofers and tweeters and a new amp? Is that what Scott's Audio does? Honestly, I'm not really familiar with the business. I just know about where it is.
Well, could you start back over? I mean, he's acting like he had no idea.
Okay, let's play it again, Sam. And plus, and trust me, there's plenty more. Those aren't even the best comments yet. We're just getting warmed up.
Everybody, y'all know where Scott's Audio and Trim off of Benton Road is,
Over there by close to Citizens Bank.
Yeah. And the hardware store, Fairway Hardware, and y'all remember where and Nichols Lube Express used to be before the city bought it across the street,
Yeah.
just right in there.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think the Inquisitor in John Settle's office is kind of over there close to that.
Yeah, but they had to build this overpass, the Walter O. Bigby. They had to reroute it to where it didn't tie into Shed Road, but reroute it to where it tied in there. And I think the council had something to do with that. I'm not 100% sure, but they ended up spending millions of dollars to buy Nichols Lube Express out for some reason. I don't know why, but they had to buy them out for just like a buttload of money. But all of a sudden, the Queen suddenly discovers that Scott's Audio and Trim has a problem.
Maybe he's off his meds now.
I don't know that
He
he's
has
on
been a little
meds.
zombified for months now. I mean,
He's awake now because he realizes that Scott's Audio and Trim has a problem.
He's
And
almost woke.
It's like he's asking, how did this happen? Who made this decision? And that baffles me.
Well, but wait, there's more. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start it over and I'm going to let it play on through a little bit.
Question on Benton Road with the newly installed raised curbs, whatever you want to call it. Scott's Audio, you're familiar with that building?
Yes, sir.
He's been there, I don't know, 25 or 30 years, and you cannot make a left-hand turn in his business. I mean, if you're heading north, how do you get into his business? You can't. I've never in my life seen someone be, a long-standing business, taxpayer. We actually, whoever it is, just, by God, go out there and build a wall and say you can't get into the man's business.
Whoever it is.
It's going from a curb to building a wall now.
Whoever it is, by gosh. Well,
yeah.
I'm just dying to know, who do y'all think whoever it is? Who do y'all think that was?
But don't worry, never fear, Mr. Lowry, because Queen David has enough clout that he's going to force them to make this right. Did you know that? Watch this. Listen up. All right, we've got about 45 seconds, and he's going to tell you how they're going to do it.
I went out there and walked with him today, and I don't know how did that happen? I mean, and I know it's not you.
Yeah.
And we all know.
Yeah, how the hell did that happen?
But I don't think that's legal. I mean, is that right, Richard? I mean, you're telling a man that he can't, imagine you have a business, all right, and you're headed north on Benton Road, and all of a sudden they build a wall out there and say,
well, I don't think he's off his meds. I think they changed his meds.
Who the hell does he think did all that crap?
All right, hold up.
Is he looking for somebody to cast the blame on?
I don't know. This is going to be such a great montage that I'm going to put together with this. All right, listen up again.
Have a business, all right, and you're headed north on Benton Road, and all of a sudden they build a wall out there and say traffic can't get to the man's business. There's no way to get there.
All of a sudden, who the hell is they?
Did Ruttenbuck go out there and do it? Did Manchac do it? I wonder who would have done such a thing on a state highway, you moron.
If you're Ruttenbuck, and you look at Ruttenbuck, he's sitting there looking at me, he's like, my God. He's like,
what the hell is this guy on?
Am I having to work with this freaking guy? Look at the shit he's got me in. He's sitting here trying to blame somebody else.
Oh, well, wait, it gets better, folks. We're almost, well, here we go.
That just can't be. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I think that it was a big enough thing for it to be brought up at this council meeting.
Really?
And to you that legally, I think we should force.
Richard's like, oh, hell.
Wait a minute.
DOT to take out the curbs in front of his access to allow someone to get in there.
Did y'all hear what he just said? Let me play that again and then we'll comment, dude.
And to you that legally, I think we should force DOTD to take out the curbs in front of his access to allow someone to get in there.
All right, that's it. Activate the sheriff's posse. We're going to force DOTD to take out that gum curb they put in there so people can make a left turn headed into that guy's business. He just can't imagine how this happened.
Yeah, how the hell did that happen? Maybe somebody that approved moving forward with the damn overpass project should have considered the detriment that it was going to cause to the businesses along through there. But I can't imagine who they were that did that. Is this freaking guy on drugs?
I can't imagine it either. Now, I wonder who, so hold on just a second here. So Wes Marriott says, was this added to the agenda? I want you to take a look. Who is he texting right there? Is he texting Jacob saying, hurry up and get your ass in here? Please come back from your medical leave?
I don't know who he's texting, but he's like, probably his doctor. He's saying, is he off the meds? Did y'all not fill his prescription?
All right, but hold on. There's more, so let's listen up.
Am I correct in that?
I think at least, what's the road? There's a road right there, Citizens Bank Drive is going to connect and come back around.
Can't get to him.
You cannot get to his business that way. I got a call from Mr. Boswell too, and actually a customer that was leaving his shop today about what it took him.
They're all acting. Look at them. They all look like actors, like Richard Ray. Remember when Richard Ray went to his office to supposedly get his phone records, to which he looked and he didn't have them anymore or whatever? Well, where the hell do you think that was?
19 months.
Oh, what's that road there? Citizens Bank Drive. He's acting like he doesn't even know there's some road there, you know. Richard Ray knows what the heck that road is.
Yeah, let's see. That is a state highway. That would be correct. Knock a hole in the wall. In the wall, you know, it's now not a curb, it's a wall. Knock a hole in the wall. Southbound Benton Road traffic will be stopped at the new red light anyway. Let's see. Wes Marriott says, same thing happened to intersection of Barksdale and Jimmy Davis when improvements were made to the intersection. You can't turn left heading north into the Circle K. That is a very good point. That Circle K pays millions more in taxes than Scott's Audio. Is King David going to advocate for them too?
Well, I'm wondering about the traffic he's going to shut down on the Shed Road crossing. You know,
Yeah.
there's a
What
couple
about
of
the extra
businesses right
accidents
there.
just turning in off of there?
I mean, he's shutting business and the traffic down there. Is he ready to take care of them as well too?
They need to do a study. Maybe. Wait, I've got the solution. Damn it, Duke. They need to put another roundabout in there. Problem solved. And then they can put another monument. A companion monument. The other monument, the other tower of tax dollars, as Cheatham labeled it, is getting lonely. They could put another roundabout right there and put another tower of tax dollars. How about that?
Is it going to be a monument of Manchac We Trust, or is it going to be a monument of King David? They will not do this to another business in Bossier.
Oh, but wait, there's more, because he really cares about all these Bossier businesses. Hold on. Let's let him tell us.
To get into that business now that the raised curb is there.
Well, you got to go down and make a U-turn at Green Acres Office Park. That's the
only way.
Or if you're heading north, if I'm right, and you take a left on Citizens Bank, won't it come back around? It's going to connect, won't it? It's not going to connect?
It connects to Green Acres Office Park.
Right.
But there's no connection to Scott's Audio. That's a vacant.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that it's not a perfect solution. That's what I guess you should call a U-turn. You got to go back around there and get back on Benton Road and then go back in.
Okay.
And signal business going on.
You got to go north.
I mean, I talk with my hands, but this is getting beyond the pale.
Okay, so is the Queen's long-term plan here to make Citizens Bank Drive that he has his office and property on loop around the Benton Road right there? Is that what he's trying to do?
Wait, did I hear you correctly? Is King David's office, does it just so happen to be located there as well?
Oh, why, yes. Along with John Settle, him and John Settle right beside each other. Hooties, you know.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
So is it plausible that the king is trying to, or the queen in this case, is trying to, help himself by helping Scott's audio?
Surely not. I mean,
well, I mean, it sure seems like it's a whole lot of
he
acting.
sure has a whole lot of sympathy. This is the most sympathy or empathy I've heard that man-child ever have in all the city council meetings.
I mean, and look at Ruttenbuck standing there. Look at the
He's
look
like,
at the
what the
damn look on
hell?
his face. I don't care, whatever. Y'all got the money. I just write me a check. It's all good.
Yeah, hey, I can fix
I don't
anything
care.
you want. In his best Matthew McConaughey voice. I can fix anything you need. All right, here we go.
To Green Acres Office Park and turn in there and come back out and then head south.
Yeah.
And even when Citizens Bank Drive is done, you've got the area and then you got the pump station, right?
He's almost like the sign language person.
I mean, literally the man is landlocked to northbound traffic.
Landlocked.
And then, quite honestly, I don't know how people, like when they're leaving, they have to go south. And they can't make a U-turn at the light. So then, I guess eventually they would go down Citizens Bank Drive and then come back out at Green Acres Office Park. But I mean, I think I just believe that there has to be a solution to that man's problem.
Okay. So now y'all see the long-term
again, I'm repeating
plan.
myself, but it was
His whole long-term plan has been to make Green Acres office, or to make Citizens Bank Drive tied in to Green Acres Office Plaza, make the road on there. So you just spent how many millions on an overpass so that he could build that through there?
Yeah.
I mean, that.
But wait a minute. It's not just his business, Duke. Hold on. Listen to his statement coming right up.
Important enough to let him know that we care about every business in this city.
Especially Dog Red Rover. We care about every business in the city.
Every business in this city. Hold on. I got to back up. We got to play that again. Listen again, folks.
And again, I'm repeating myself, but it was important enough to let him know that we care about every business in this city.
Oh my gosh.
And again, I'm repeating myself, but it was important enough to let him know that we care about every business in this city.
I'm speechless.
We thought it was going to be a dull city council meeting. Every time we say that, it is not.
All of y'all watching, I mean, what do y'all make of that?
What's the solution?
I usually have something to say, and I don't know what
Queen
to say.
David wants to
really
go
don't.
to war and force the DOTD to do something. He wants to go out there and basically do a citizens advocacy group or whatever and take the curb out. But it's not a curb now. It's actually a wall now. Just knock the wall out. Or my solution is put a roundabout in there and another statue. Bullock says, I would like that in a file to make a ringtone for when Julie Ferris calls me. We can make that happen, Ashley Bullock. All right, hold on. But wait, there's more. We're not done yet. He does come up with a solution here in about a minute. Listen up.
I say that my understanding of the history of it, it was a DOTD thing because they're going to come along and put that curbing on the east side. That's the next phase. And that was part of, but DOTD, it's my understanding DOTD.
We knew that.
Required it. Yeah, but they required that raised median as well, didn't they, as part of the project?
Yeah, yes,
To
sir.
get the curb cut.
I never remember in all the years that we've been working on this, them saying that they were going to block a man's business from northbound traffic.
They targeted that audio business specifically.
The same median that's preventing people southbound from getting to the businesses on the east side of Highway 3 is.
So Ruttenbuck has to be the voice of reason along with Richard Ray. Well, it's the same problem on the other side of the road.
Yeah, but here's the difference. The difference is that they paid $3.5 million to buy out the business that was so affected on the east side of the road. But if you're on the west side of the road doing tent, putting, speakers in cars and fixing motorcycles, then you kind of didn't really matter. But now all of a sudden, it matters for some reason to the Queen.
Ashley Bullock says, let's just tear all the walls down. No more walls. Somehow I hear Pink Floyd playing in the back of my mind. All right, but wait,
But
there's there's a little more.
But I'm still wondering who they are. Who is they that was responsible for making all these decisions? Who is they that steered all this stuff? Who is they that came up with this wonderful idea?
The mysterious they.
Preventing people.
Well, put a sign up saying no left turn.
There you go. No left turn. We only make right turns in Bossier. No left turns.
Preventing people.
Well, put a sign up saying no left turn.
One more time, I can't help myself, folks. I'm sorry.
East side of Highway 3 is preventing people.
That's it.
Well, put a sign up saying no left turn.
That's it. I don't support term limits no more.
We support left turns. No left turns. Yeah.
I'm done. I don't support term limits anymore.
Yeah. Damn it, Duke. If we get term limits actually enacted, what are we going to substitute Queen David with? How are we going to get our entertainment for each and every Tuesday?
I don't know, man. This guy is the gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, I got to tell you, I don't know if there will be as a colorful politician in Bossier politics as this guy ever again. I just don't know.
Yeah. All right. So in real business, we did get an update from Amanda on the salary study. Did you know that there is actually an update on the salary study? Would you like to hear
I did not. I did not.
Yes, let's hear the update.
An update on the salary study revisions, if there's any. I don't know if there's any yet.
We've not gotten any additional information since the
There's your
preliminary. We've sent back, got all the department heads to go through and verify the information that was on there to make sure it was accurate and if there was anything that stood out to them so we can give that feedback to them. I expect that we should have some more revised draft later this month. So they have been working.
So that's BS political speak for we ain't done crap to move on that. I mean, how long does it take to analyze a salary study? Hint, there's AI. You could put it in ChatGPT and it would crank out in about 20 seconds a summary analysis of your salary study.
Yeah, obviously AI has not made it to Bossier City yet.
No, it's definitely not artificial intelligence.
But look, they know that the cops are taking a beating in Bossier, and they're not going to do anything until the first of the year. That's just the way it is. And why? Because the Queen is not going to allow it. Yeah. He's in charge.
He is in charge. In charge like Large Marge. All right, Mr. Lowry. What else shall we talk about? Anything? Oh, did everybody know that the Red River's coming up?
Yeah, look, hey, we're currently not as high as we were last week. I mean, everybody's kind of raising awareness about it, and everybody needs to be aware. Historically, in I think the 2015 and before that, when we had the Red River flooding, it was in June. It was right around the same time frame, and last week, for example, I can tell you one of the places that I monitor, it was at 30 feet, and we dropped down to 25 feet 1 week later, which is this week, and it's on the rise now, and we've gotten all of this rain. And there's a lot of rain that's taking place up north. So everybody just kind of pay attention. I don't think they're predicting any flooding, but if we get any more, I mean, look, this is Louisiana. Our weather can change within an hour.
That
But
is true.
you know, be conscious of it and head on a swivel, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so Facebook has actually, it's become an interesting feature to me where it reminds you of posts that you had. So I posted this video back in 2015 when we had the major Red River flood. And if you remember, they were still working on the I-49 interchange with 220. So let's watch a little bit of this video just to refresh everybody's memory. Headed westbound on 220, right there where the I-49 interchange is coming in, where they're doing the construction, and you can see the water flooded, and you can start to see their mats that they were tracking their equipment on that are just floating out in the timber and all of that. And you can see them pushed up against the edge of the tree line where the high line is and all that. Now, they had an aluminum boat out yesterday trying to retrieve some of those, but that wasn't going so well. And so it looks like that they brought a marsh buggy down here. You'll see those it are all coming up mats in just a floating second. out there, And like I guess they're going to maybe use the marsh buggy to go down there and try to gather up all of those pallets. I'm not really sure. Maybe they've decided that they have some other use for it or whatever. But they got quite a bit of water down there. It's flooded.
So, you know, like Weston Marriott said, Red Chute at Sligo's 1 foot from flood and Bodcall and Bayou Loop Mobile Home Park, you know, and so it's not so much about the river coming up, you know, and flooding that way. I'll give you an example, like out at the crawfish farm this past week. One of the problems is that, you know, we got like 4 inches of rain within like an hour and a half. And there was so much water that literally the ponds just filled up with water, and I had water running over the tops of the levees and, you know, in a couple of the low spots. And crawfish were like, you know, getting out of there. They were spawning out of there, migrating, and to get back there on the four-wheeler, like you're running over, killing millions of crawfish just to get back there.
That's terrible. You're ruining the crawfish boils.
Yeah, but we're getting, you know, we're getting so much rain like right here. I mean, it's not the river, it's just the localized rain is so heavy. And
it is, but North Texas and Southern Oklahoma are getting some of this too, and so that may present a challenge. I'm going to play this through again. This is June the 14th or June 4th of 2015. So I'm on 220 headed eastbound coming over the river. Crossing over the Red River on the 220 bridge headed into Bossier City, which of course is headed west. And you can see the flooding taking place, which would be on the south side, or basically the south side of the bridge. And normally this area out here is a cow pasture with cows in it, and there's actually a corral that's usually kind of right around this sign that of course is underwater. And there's been a dead cow out there for like 3 days that was in the water, but the water's come up now. I guess it floated away. Gina and the boys were kind of disappointed because, well, they didn't get to see the dead cow. But again, the river's coming on up, and you can see. So just to remind everybody how high it got in 2015. And so this was late afternoon, June.
Yeah, and I remember they briefly shut down 220 right there.
It's going to be very close to 220 right along here on the Bossier side. Well, they shut down one lane because it did actually creep up onto 220 itself. But you can see right here, look how far up. Here we're driving down the Arthur T. Parkway, which of course is on the Bossier side, just coming off of Airline Drive. And you can see the Shreveport Barksdale Highway Bridge coming up here. And of course the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Substation, which is, they did some sandbagging, but as you can see, it's pretty much getting flooded. And of course the river is supposed to come on up about another foot from where it is now, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be some flood damage there. And you can see that the boat ramp and all that is completely underwater, as well as the parking lot. All right, so that's enough of memory lane, but just to kind of show y'all and remind everybody just how much water was flowing through there, I want to show you this. This is the spillway at the lock and dam.
Yeah, that
bad
bad boy
the water
was up.
is almost level on both sides. That's how high the river is. And so you can see how fast the current really is right here as the debris and trash approach the lock and dam to go through the gates. And you can see the big eddy right here swirling.
I wanted to go back. So I had somebody message me with a guess on the "Oh God" comment.
Oh, really? Hold on.
Yes, sir. And I think it's pretty. I think it's a
Plausible?
It's a plausible, pretty good guess that I don't think anybody has considered.
Who would that be?
Richard Ray.
It could have been.
Nobody even considered it was
Maybe
him.
maybe we should do an online poll and give a hat away to whoever. Well, I don't know how we would determine who actually said it though. Somebody'd have to fess up.
Yeah, somebody'd have to pass up. But that's a good guess. I don't know. I didn't even consider. I didn't even think about it. Could have been him.
Yeah. Well, it could have been. He was off camera. Could have been.
He was. He was.
All
All right.
right.
Well, if anybody knows who they are, let us know. We're dying to know who they are. The Queen wants to know who that made those decisions.
And if anybody knows who on the city council loves God the most, to say his name out in vain, let us know as well.
That's all I got, brother.
All right, we're out here. Hey, we appreciate all of y'all watching. You know the drill. If you got, something you want to send us, you want it to be pretty anonymous. As a matter of fact, darn right anonymous, outright anonymous. Go make a free protonmail.com account. Don't put any identifying information at all on it. Send it to bossierwatch at protonmail or bossierwatch at gmail.com. We do take a look at those. If you want to go to the website, go to bossierwatch.com or .org, doesn't matter. You can send us a donation if you feel like being generous and helping us buy some coffee. We will be here every Tuesday night, and I've got some more outdoor news shows coming up that I'm going to do. And we have a series coming up on Louisiana Watch. Don't forget, we'll share it on Bossier Watch over the immigration system and our local Shreveport airport. So there you go. More content coming your way, folks. Good night.
Good night.